Good morning, YouTube. And today's video, we're going to be asking ourselves the question, should we reopen the country? Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why I haven't been making any videos lately, uh, this is why. It's freaking awesome new game I've got where I get to attack anybody I want. So yeah, so instead of defending the world against the Nazis, I'm gonna freaking take out Mexico, and then while the whole world's busy there, I'm gonna go take South America too. Anyway, that's the plan. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, so back to the subject of the video. Should we reopen the country? And of course, the correct answer is yes. Of course we should. Now, I know that some of you are probably thinking to yourselves, well, what about the pandemic, Billy? What about the virus? It's all bullshit. Don't worry about it. Just reopen the country. It's just the freaking flu that's a little spreads faster. Oh, what? Yes, I know. I made a video a few weeks ago talking about how the casualties were going to be in the millions. And I know that even before that, I did another video saying that it was all bullshit, and now I'm back to bullshit. And now you're probably thinking, you know, how is this? Okay, well, we need some context. Okay, and let's go through, exactly the timeline here of what happened. Okay, so, we first start hearing about this virus in Wuhan in the news. That there's something going on in China, and there's some disease, new SARS-like virus that came out of some wet market over there. By the way, the reason they call it a wet market is because of all the blood. You see, the animals are alive when they come to the market, and then they butcher them right there in front of you, and then you take them home. You know, they've been doing it for thousands of years, but apparently it's not very hygienic, and that's where a lot of these viruses come from. Not this one, but a lot of them. Anyway, so people are starting to panic, and the mainstream media, okay, is trying to clamp it down. They're going like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just, another like SARS thing. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And then Trump started agreeing with them, right? And that's when the evil Democrats, okay, saw an opening. So what they decided that they were going to do is they were going to Katrina Trump. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means they're going to go and take a crisis, and they're going to use the crisis to try and make their political opponent look bad in the hopes of driving their numbers down so that they can defeat them in the election. Okay, so they weaponized the issue, and Trump was being Trump. He was standing firm, and then he got a briefing, and the briefing went something like this. The virus didn't come from a woman eating a bat. It escaped from some kind of a lab in China. We don't have the details yet on where it came from, but apparently this virus has been genetically altered to spread rapidly. And we don't know what the kill rate is. It could be anywhere, it could be as high as 3 to 5% of those infected that die. So, as you can imagine, people started to panic. Okay? And that's when I made the second video. And I was, being, I figured it'd be like 1%, for the worst, I thought we'd lose 1 million people. Okay? And then everybody went crazy. And then, of course, the Democrats, because they are freaking absolutely freaking evil, they decided that they were going to weaponize this again. So now here's the problem. They had to pivot from Trump isn't taking it serious, okay, to Trump isn't being serious enough. So they started going like whatever he did, okay, wasn't good enough. Okay. All right. Again, to try and make him look bad. Okay, that's what they do. Right? And then, this went on for a week or two. And then something interesting happened. We started to learn more about the virus. And as it turned out, as long as, it doesn't get into the nursing homes, you know, it's not, it's weak. Okay. It's just a regular flu, but it's been altered, okay, to spread rapidly. Now, I know Fauci was on TV the other day and he said that it wasn't altered, and he lied. But he had to. I would have done the same thing. Okay, we have to be responsible. It's not a big deal. We'll deal with it later. Okay, but we need to calm the situation now. We don't need to be throwing gasoline on the fire. But between me and you, and since nobody really watches these videos, yeah, it was genetically altered. Okay, so now, Trump goes and says, okay, now it's time to reopen the country, right? And now the Democrats have, their chance to try and make Trump look like a greedy capitalist that doesn't care about you. Okay, so they're talking all kinds of nonsense about keeping the country locked down for a year and a half. Right. Because, by the way, they want to create an economic disaster because they know, from at least this is what they think they know, that if the country is in recession, the incumbent loses. Okay, and this is what all they care about is getting into power, right? Now the question is, why do they crave this power so much? Well, it's not to help you or me. It's how they survive. All right. So now, so the Democrats, led by their governors, are doing all these draconian freaking measures in their states, okay, to try and say, like, look, see, we're being serious about this, but Trump isn't. Well, after a week or two of this, people start revolting, right? And then Trump goes and starts tweeting support for the protesters. Okay, now this is really, you know, turned the tables on them. Okay, now they have to pivot back. Okay, or they're the ones that are going to lose support at the polls. Right. So bottom line is, yeah, the it's time to reopen up the country. The Democrats tried to politicize it to try and make us suffer a little bit longer, but because of the people, revolting against them, they're going to have to fall in line, and they are the next week or two. They've already started showing signs of weakness, actually. So yes, now in conclusion, let's talk about the people that are going to come out of this winners or losers. The Democrats, of course, are freaking losers because every single time they went with this strategy or that strategy, no matter what they did, they got their asses kicked. And it has exposed them as being corrupt and incompetent. Now, the question is, what's worse, being corrupt or incompetent? I'm going with incompetent. Okay, and everybody was at. It's not like people were, uh, going to the baseball game or going to do something with their kids or going out on dates or something. Everybody was sitting at home and they were paying attention. Okay, that's bad news for the Democrats. Usually they like to do that shit in the dark. And then of course the Chinese are fucking big losers because now everybody knows what fucking evil fucks they are, and lying scumbags, right? And but that's why one of the reasons why we can't admit that the virus was manufactured, was altered, because we can't. The freaking Chinese are fucked enough with it. You know what I'm saying? We can't like cut off all trade and invade them, which some people want to do. And then, of course, the globalists. Their vision of their one world government is shattered at least for 100 years. Ha ha! And Trump. Trump's going to win, and he's going to win big because I suspect the political fallout from this failed Democratic strategy is going to cause 30 to 40% of the progressives, okay, to go for Trump in the general election. Why? Because of all these policies like direct payments to the people and healthcare, all this stuff that Trump started doing, okay, to try and solve the problem they liked a lot. And then, of course, um, The blacks are going to vote 30-40% because um, these these very spiteful, draconian bureaucratic rules that deal with the social safety net are going to be relaxed significantly, and Trump's going to get credit for that. Anyway, so there you go. That's the video. We'll see what happens. Again, I can't wait for the election. I hope what I say comes true. I really do, because if the Democrats get a hold of the country, it's revolution time, because I'm not living underneath those scumbags. And there's a couple 40 million people that agree with me. Haha. Yeah, so there you go. Civil War, bitches. Anyway, enjoy your day.